and give them a lot of credit. Their transition hurt us, but that was based off what they did on the defensive end. They were very disruptive, very active, like they've been. I mean, they're rated the number one defensive team in the country for a reason, and I said before the game, I think they're the most complete team in the country. To have the floor leadership that they have, to have the length, the speed. I think they're the fastest team. I haven't seen everybody, but it'd be hard to imagine a team that executes with the precision they do at the speed that they do. And, tonight they made us pay for everything. And then, I don't know if fatigue caught up or what, but obviously it wasn't a great shooting night for us, even when we did get good looks. And, all those turned into transition points for them. We talked early or before the game about, or in our preparation about, defensive transition being the number one thing. And it is when you play this team. And so you can't turn it over. You can't miss out of balance anyway, offensively, because those shots and those opportunities for them turn into points. And so just an impressive performance by them, but I couldn't be more proud of our team. What this team's done over the last month has just been absolutely remarkable. One of the most enjoyable stretches of basketball that I've had in my coaching career, watching this come together like as win the games in the places that they have, play at the level that they have, shoot the ball better than any team I've ever coached during that stretch, has just been unbelievable. And so, from my understanding, and I expect that we've earned more, and I'm excited to keep working with them and see what we can do here in the postseason.
Hey, Scott, good to see you, man. My question is just, you kind of just talked about it, but you guys have been playing really well the last month or so, throwing out today's game. Just what this team, you think the future for the rest of the season, the NCAA is going to be for you, and how good this team could be, since it seems like you're peaking at the right time.
Well, I think we absolutely are. We've played unbelievable basketball, and, it's a tribute to the character of this group to weather all the storms that we have, and to put them itself in a position, to not only go through the strength of the schedule that we've just played, but to do it successfully like we have has been just absolutely remarkable. Today was too much for us under the circumstances, but even today is making this team better, more experience. They're just adding and adding and adding, to the quality of team that we are. All these experiences are adding up. And anybody that's watched us play, this is the first time we've played 6 consecutive games this season. And so every game we've just gotten better, and so as we head to the postseason, this team is hungry. There's a belief. They know they're good. They know they can play with anybody. And that's what you want in the postseason. So when you've got an inside game, you've got an outside game, you've got the defensive mindset that has emerged over this last month, has really been a difference maker for us. The youth on this team has developed, give Stanford a lot of credit for taking opportunities away from us today. But this team has moved the ball and scored from all 5 positions. And, that's a hard team to cover. So those things usually equal success in the postseason and a tough out. And I think that's who we are.
Thanks, Scott.
Scott, do you anticipate playing any more games before the 15th, or do you think this is it for you?
As of this moment, no, I do not. And so we'll kind of, regroup, head home, I think, in the morning, and just kind of look at where we are with everything and see if anything makes sense. And so I'm all for doing whatever it takes for this team to, reach their potential and continue to play.
When you got to halftime, when you go back and look at that second quarter, was there what was going through your mind? What did you tell the team? Were there some things you thought you could do differently? Because that second quarter just was a tour de force. It looked like the way they played.
What does that mean?
Well, they just seemed like they were just that was as good as I've seen a women's team play. That was both ends. They were just
Stanford. That is.
Yeah, that was really sharp. If you thought you could do,
Well, we talked about defensive transition. That was the number one thing. Brink is just a handful. The way that she runs the floor is special, and so you've got, in my opinion, I'm kind of biased towards Kiana, as maybe the best player in the country when it comes to her overall impact on a game. So understated, but so capable, unbelievable floor leadership. There's nothing she can't do with the basketball and leading a team. And you've got her, then you've got the holes. You've got, Haley Jones, that is basically a point forward, dribbling out as if she's a point guard. And then you've got Cameron Brink running down the middle, and then you can come in with Fran after that, so that's just, that's impressive, and Brink really hurt us tonight in general, but especially in that second quarter with those offensive rebound putbacks and then the transition layups, and so that was the name of the game, the transition for them. That's where they got to the free throw line. They scored, 14 first half points in transition, and we had 0. And, we were down 11. And so that was the talk, you got to give them credit for coming out and staying, just relentless with their defensive effort in the second half, just to disrupt us and never allow us to get comfortable. And, that's what continued it.
And then Anna Wilson on Aaliyah. You just don't see guards like that, the guard like that, very often. It just seemed like she just kind of really wore on Aaliyah.
Yeah, she wears on everybody. That's the defensive player of the year in our conference, for a reason. It's been neat to follow her, through her career. That was someone that didn't play at all hardly as a freshman, just a little bit more as a sophomore, just a little bit more as a junior. And then this year, has just carved out her niche. She's a capable shooter that makes enough open shots to hold you accountable. But she's their Gabby Hansen. For those of us, who followed our program for a while, she's that disruptive defensive player that's her identity. She hangs her hat on it. She doesn't need anything more than that. That's what she does for them. And so, yeah, she does a nice job handling screens, getting through, disrupting, getting tips. So yeah, she's an excellent defender, and she had a big impact on this game as well.
Hey, Scott, I know you guys have wanted to play games. You've had this stretch where you played quite a bit, but is it kind of nice, to take a step back and have a little time to go over some more film, work on some details that you haven't been able to so much because you've been preparing for so many games here? Is that maybe a positive as you kind of head towards the postseason, to have a little bit of a break now where you can work on those things?
Yeah, I think we could use a break at the moment. It hasn't been, we're finally playing games, but we're also played a lot of road games. This has been a grind. I just told the team that. I said, I couldn't be prouder of you. There were things tonight that I wasn't real happy with. I didn't think our decision-making was as good as it could have been, as good as they are. They make you make great decisions. And we were just okay, I thought, in that. Why? I don't know. Give them the credit, but now to take a break, catch our breath, just go back over all the stuff we've done over the last couple of weeks. When you think about it, it's been quite the grind. And part of it is the level of teams that we've been competing against. There hasn't been a possession off, to be honest. It's been because all these have been playoff games for us too. That's another thing that we've known. Our back's been against the wall for a while now. And so you think back to the USC game. Ultimately that was a must win for our team. The Cal game the other day, that's a must win. So that had a funky pressure to it. So this team's been really grinding. Our staff's been really grinding. So now certainly to catch our breath a bit, before the postseason begins, the NCAA postseason begins is going to be nice. And I think, like we've used all our pauses this year, we'll use it well and we'll be better for it. Hi there.
A team that's going to play its third game in 3 days. Stanford was going to try and wear you down by running on you, and you guys knew that was going to be. Did you guys wear down? Did you see the legs start to get heavy?
I think so. I think so. It's, you don't want to make excuses, but at the same time, there's not a team that plays faster than Stanford. There's just not. UConn typically plays fast, of course. This team with their veteran play and how they just know each other so well, plus you have the youth on their team is on the inside. And so they're just running from rim to rim. and so the decisions with the ball, the skill with the ball, and then the calmness that they're able to play with because of their experience allows them to play at such a speed, so it's an unusual speed. You don't see it very often. It's hard to recreate, and then to come off, the emotion, like I mentioned, of a kind of a funky pressure Cal game, and then a rivalry game. So I almost said it, a rivalry game yesterday, with Oregon. There's a lot of emotion in that. So we all think, we can bounce back and let's go because we want to win this game too, and all these things. And then you get out there, and the reality of it is, man, this is really hard. I don't know if I have any left, And so Stanford's tough to cover, even if you have a full week to prepare for them, So it probably played a little bit into it, especially with our shooting numbers, because I thought we did get some good looks. I mean, this is a team that has shot over 50% the last 7 or 8 games from 3. We had several air balls tonight, uncharacteristic, but partially them, maybe partially fatigue. I don't know. I just know Stanford's a tough prep, on 30 hours or whatever it was.
It's interesting really quickly that you brought up Connecticut and Stanford and pace, because I had a conversation with Tara a few years ago where she said the difference between the way Connecticut plays and everybody else right now is pace. I want us to play at that pace. Do you see that in the Stanford team? Do you see that pace, that elite level, championship level pace that they're playing at?
Yeah, I do. I think, I've said it for a while. I think Stanford overall, when they're playing like they're capable, who's better than them? They're just complete. And, can you get them on an off night? Maybe, but they're just relentless in their effort. And so because of that pace is, like I said, it's tough. It's tough. We played, Breanna Stewart's team, at the Final Four in year 4 for that group. I don't know if you can compare the two teams at the moment, because they had 5 seniors that were all 5 first-round picks that year. And basically we're a WNBA team at the time. This team, I don't know if they're quite there, who knows about that, but I can tell that they're trying to do the same thing, and they do make you pay for every mistake that you make, and their transition game is similar. And, it's tough. It's tough. It's impressive.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Scott, do you have thoughts on, I know it's going to be a weird year for the selection committee, but where you should be seated? Probably you want to stay off the 8-9 line. Do you think you've played your way into that high of a seating, though, given how well you've played over the last month?
How many teams are going to go into Pauley and win? How many teams are going to go to Oregon and win? How many teams are going to go beat Oregon again in a neutral site game 3 days later, when they have 3 days to practice and you have 18 out, 20 hours, something like that. The way that this team's playing, we deserve to be where the teams that are capable of doing that are. And so I don't know how the committee is going to do it. I look at net rating. I don't really understand some of net rating. Some things in there don't make sense to me. We're still learning it. I think we all are. This year, how do you judge us? Was it our fault that we were shut down? No. And so you can't penalize for that, but you can judge us for the way we've performed and the team that we are. And, what do your eyes see? So I've looked at net, I've looked at RPI. RPI is absolutely not relevant this year because of the way it's built. And I know we're not using it. I've looked at Massey this morning. Massey had a 16, and those of you who know me know that I've looked at that for a long time. And I think that's as accurate a measure as there is, in our sport and many other sports, actually. And so I think it's tough, but I just know there's not very many teams in the country that are going to do what we just did over the last few weeks. I think we belong with those teams.